श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि। रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्। ஷீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो में सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि। रामानुजदया पात्रं ज्ञान वैराग्य भूषणं श्रीमद् वेंकटनाथार्यं वंदे वेदांत देशिकं। சீரொன்று தூப்புள் திருவேங்கடமுடியான் பாரொன்று சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேர போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
நாம் இக்காதை கற்றது. Now we have seen 2 or 3 words like drishta drishta upayangal, rather the stories which we heard or seen. We saw the words dharma smrutova drishtova, whether the stories of righteousness, stories of our good policy have been heard or seen. So whether they have been heard or seen, or even if they have not been heard or seen, what should we do is Rama's advice. Nam ikkadai kattadu. Rama has learnt all this. As an almighty, he has seen them. As a human being, he has heard them. In the incarnation, he has heard them. So, Nam ikkadai kattadu. That means the royal being. So, I learnt all this in the form of songs, in the form of poems. So maybe Itihasa Samuchayam, Mahabharatam, then Manusmriti, then Yajnavalkya Smriti. So, all these are the books from which he learnt. Na gatha gatinam shasti. So, in this way, in this line, what happens is the story, when read and when heard, or when seen in flesh and blood or heard, ghatinam na shasti. So it is not putting any restrictions on the killer of the surrenderer. No story can correct the wrong protector. That's the meaning. So Gatha, the song, poem, even after being read or heard or seen, it has no connection with the murderer of the surrenderer. So, Ghatinam na shasti. It doesn't say. So what we mean by this is the advice is given by the story, but there is no compulsory requirement that one who reads, hears and sees these stories in reality should follow. It is our choice to choose the right path. That's all. என்கிறபடியே குளிங்க சகுனியை போல வேறொன்றை சொல்லி. Kulinga Shakuni. Shakuni is the name of the species of the bird, and Kulinga is a particular bird. So Kulinga Shakuni, what does it do? You know this background of Kulinga Shakuni. It is very bold, unnecessarily bold. And when a lion has taken a prey and the flesh piece is in his mouth, the bird Kulinga Shakini tries to pick up the flesh piece from the mouth of the lion. It knows that it is dangerous, it is risky, but it enters into the mouth of the lion when it yawns or like that. So in some situation, and then picks up the flesh piece from the teeth of the lion. That means a person who is supposed to protect the surrenderer runs a risk of knowingly runs the risk of not following the story heard, seen, and read. So, வேறொன்றை சொல்லி வேறொன்றை செய்கின்றே. Now, so having read the stories like what are there are three or more we have heard. Kandu's explanation over the protection of the surrenderer, a monkey saving the hunter, a pigeon favoring the hunter, the bear saving the hunter, and so on. The problem with the wrong man is having heard those stories, having seen those stories, seen the incidents of the stories, he wants to do something else, opposite of the policies of the stories, namely killing the surrenderer or allowing the surrenderer to be killed by others. So, yathartham, badhagamillameyalum, we know the true statement of Kandu Maharishi. Practical, yathartham is practical, meaningful, and true to the statement. Badhagamillameyalum, there is no harm. Pratyaksha Shruti Samvadatalum Padudatra Pasu. It has no flaw. Kandu's words have no flaw, no mistake, no error. And then Pratyaksha Shruti Samvadatalum. When we look at the scriptural sentences, what you call with a direct perception, that is, read through the scriptures, and there are arguments like Shibi Chakravarti with the vulture, Raghu with Rakshasa, and so on. By those what you call dialogues, arguments, the words of Kandu Maharishi have no flaw, have no mistake. Padudatra Pasu. Drishta viruddhamana ungal vaarthai kaattil. Now, Rama addresses the monkeys. Monkeys, including the leaders like Sugriva, Angada, they do not recommend the acceptance of Vibhishana. And therefore, after having seen or having not seen the stories, and therefore they are against these policies. The monkeys are against these policies. So better than the words of the monkeys, Avan Varthikulla Vishesham irundabadi Kandire. So Avan, it refers to Kandu Maharishi. In Sanskrit, we say Saha. There is no disrespect shown. But in Tamil, we may find fault with the word Avan. It should have been Avar. So Avar Varthikulla Vishesham irundabadi Kandire. So let us not find fault with the great sage Kandu's words. So, Avan Varthikulla Vishesham irundabadi Kandire. Now, how do the monkeys now are again arguing against Rama? So, that is the beauty here. So, namely, even in spite of so many incidents quoted by Rama, still Sugriva doesn't believe Rama fully. That's a problem. In his case, personal case, he depended on Rama to kill his elder brother Vali. and he relied on him. He had faith in Rama. But in the case of Vibhishana, he still doubts his bona fides. And therefore, he is asking Rama that instead of listening to our advice, our suggestions, our opinions, why do you believe Kandu's words? That's what he is asking, seems to ask. For that, Rama answers, Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. என்னும்படி இருந்தால் மகாஜனோ ஏனகதஸ்த பந்தாகா என்கிறபடியே பெரியனான கண்டுவின் வழியை பின் செல்லுகை காணும் நமக்கு காரியம். So answer the two replies, reactions to Sugriva's intention not to accept Vibhishana. So he says, Dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. It is very difficult to understand the meaning, purport or import of the or inner meaning of what righteousness is. So dharmasya tattvam, the inner principle of righteousness cannot be understood very easily because it is hidden in a cave. So the cave is what we call the inner meaning cluster. So guha is not a physical cave, but it is like a secret. Nihitam guhaya. It is secretly kept, rather what we call locker. It is in a locker. The principle of dharma is in a locker. So to open the locker, some great people are needed. We have to seek help from great people. So great people in the sense, so we must observe the whole society. We must observe our neighbors. We must know who good people are in the society and who are great in the society. We had a lot of definitions over what we call Mahantaha. So Mahajanaha, great people. So Yenagatasya Panthaha. We must follow their way. So instead of trying to understand the deep secret of Dharma, we may have to follow good people, great people. So we will follow him. And when we follow him, who is the great person here? Periyanana Kandu. So he is a great sage, he is a great. He is Mahajanaha. Vazhiyi pin sellugai kaanum namakku karyam. This is reply to monkeys by Rama. Rama advises the monkeys, when we do not understand clearly the deepest principle of Dharma from the scriptures or so, what course we have, or what the only course that we have to follow is follow the words of great people. Here the great man is Kandu. So namakku karyam. So this is our duty to go after Kandu's words. Uttamam uttama dharma vishaya. When we are not able to discern the principle of righteousness, the only way out is follow the great person. Now, in Mahabharatam, Sabha Parvam, you have 64th canto, 20th verse. Na gatha gathinam shasti. I think I mistook the word ghathinam. So now, this means Shlokam tannai uchcharipadal matram oruvanai rakshipadillai. By mere pronunciation of the song or shlokaha, that is verses, will not protect a person. So what is necessary? So some more qualifications are necessary while we recite shlokas. That is, bhakti is necessary, faith is necessary, belief is necessary, affection towards the Lord is necessary, and so on. So Gatha, Gatinam, Na Shasti. Actually, Na Shasti, knowing the meaning, so understanding the meaning, repeating the meaning, concentrating on the meaning, that will all, that with bhakti, with devotion, with faith, with belief, that will be what we call an advantage for by recitation of the songs rather in the scriptures. When we read scriptures, scriptures must be believed. Mere pronunciation, mere recitation, that is what we call mechanical repetition will not do any good, will not protect us. So, dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yenagatasya pantaha is from Parashara Smriti. One has to know the Rishi, etc. Yes. Rishi, Devata, and Chandas. Right. Very good. So, Chandogya Upanishad says, when we say mantras from the scriptures, we must also basically understand the fundamentals, namely, who is the sage who produced the mantra. So, yeah. So, and Devata, which God is aimed at by the mantra, and Chandas, the meter also. So these three must be what we call preliminaries necessary for uttering the mantra, the spells from scriptures. Now, Parashara Smriti, it's a Smriti called Parashara, Parashara Smriti, that is Vyasa's father. I think Ara is the name of the chapter. If it is Bharam, if it is Bharatam, I think Para becomes Bharatam. Aranyaka Parvam, it must be Aranyaka Parvam. So 314, 119, 314th canto, 119th verse. Dharmatin unmai guhaikul vaikkappattirukkirathu. Therefore, Ariya Aridu. It is impossible to understand. Ahayal Periyorhalai Anishtipade Sariyana Vadi. In our family also, whatever be the rituals, whatever be the homely functions, we must follow our own elders in our own family only, not anybody else. So, Periyorhalai Anishtipade Sariyana Vadi. Now, 133. So, the suitable reply was given by Rama to the doubts of monkeys. So, Anganandrike, இப்பாசுரத்திற்கு மேல் உம்மாலே ஆதல் முதலிகளாலே ஆதல் நம்மாலே ஆதல் ஒரு கண்ணழிவு சொல்ல ஒண்ணாதபடி எல்லாத்திற்கும் மேலான பாசுரம் காணும் இது. Now, so he says, Rama says, let us not worry about all this. Now, let us assess our capacity. இப்பாசுரத்திற்கு மேல், after knowing the words of Kandu, the great sage, ummale adal. So, what will be the power for you? What will be your power? What will be your capacity to protect Vibhishana? Rather, it's Rama. Rather, so ummale adal. So, ummale adal, is it possible for you to protect Vibhishana? Number one. Mudalihalale adal. Is it possible to protect Vibhishana by the monkeys? So, Mudalihal is what we call here followers. So, the followers should protect the demon, Vibhishana. And Nammale Adal. So, in a concerted effort, in a team work, so, Rama and monkeys join together and protect Vibhishana. ஒரு கண்ணழிவு சொல்ல ஒண்ணாதபடி. So, there must be no blame in future by anyone. Individually, one must have capacity, Rama or monkeys, and put together they must be able to protect Vibhishana. So, nobody should find fault with later on the protection of Vibhishana. So, kannazhivu solla onnadhu. They must not pick holes with the protectors. So, எல்லாத்திற்கும் மேலான பாசுரம் காணும் இது. Now we give one, two verses which happen to save our face. Now, Samvarta Smriti. I have not heard the Smriti like Samvarta Smriti. Samvarta Smriti, generally the title means Smriti with good meanings. The 53rd verse. Bhita Abhaya Pradanena Sarvan Kaman Avapniyat Dirgam Ayushcha Labhate Sukhi Cha Eva Sada Bhavi. Now, so should we extend protection to Vibhishana? The question arises, or the question arose among the monkeys. And the monkeys must feel now the advantages of protecting a surrender. Whether it is Vibhishana or somebody else, all of us should apply the policy, follow the policy of protection of the surrenderer. So what are the advantages that accrue to us for protection of the surrenderer? So this verse gives. Bhita Abhaya Pradana. If you are protecting the fearful person, Vibhishana came out of fear. Bhita Abhaya Pradana. Sarvan Kaman Avapniyat. A protector will fulfill all his desires. Sarvan Kaman, all desires. Avapniyat will be fulfilled. So the protector will achieve all his desires by giving protection to, by giving fearlessness to fearful person. And then he will live long. Dirgham ayuhu cha labhate. Labhate, he gets, the protector gets the long life, long span of life. It is not alone, not the second advantage. So he will live happily. Sukhi cha eva sada bhavet. He will be always happy. Sukhi cha, he will always experience pleasure. He will have a happy experience everywhere, all the time, all through his life. His life will be long, and his happiness also will be till his life. Then Itihasa Samuchayam says, so let me read the Tamil meaning. பயந்து சரணமடைந்தவனுக்கு அபயம் அளிப்பதினால் ஒருவன் தான் விரும்பிய எல்லாவற்றையும் அடைவதுடன் நீண்ட ஆயுளையும் பெற்று எப்போதும் சுகமாகவே ஜீவிப்பவனாக ஆகிறான். So this is the Tamil translation which I just now told you. So ekataha kratavaha sarve samagra vara dakshinaha ekataha bhayabitasya praninaha pranarakshanam. Itihasa Samuchaya, 4th canto, 3rd verse says this, namely, so you have a balance. So in the balance, there are two pans. So in the pans, in the two pans, you place one, what is said in the first half, and the other pan, you place the second meaning of the second half. So let us assume that there are many sacrifices performed. Kratuhu means sacrifice. So Kratuhu means yagaha, yajnam, velvi in Tamil. So you have sacrifices. So fire rituals. So Kratavaha, many rituals, many fire sacrifices. Sarve, so all of them. Suppose somebody performs many sacrifices. A king is supposed to make a sacrifice called Sarvajit Yaga, Ashwamedha frequently. And if one performs 100 Ashwamedha Yagas, he becomes Indra, the god of gods. Antyeshti is there, Putra Kameshti is there. Then you have another called for getting into heaven. So many Soma Yaga is there. Ishti generally means Yaga, and Soma Yaga is there. And then so many yagas. Agnishtomaha. Agnishtomaha is for getting heaven. So these are all some sacrifices. When somebody performs all sacrifices and Atiratram, Atirudram also we say, Atirudram. So Samagra Vara Dakshinaha. There, the performer of these sacrifices satisfies all the people who come to the sacrifice. They give lot of good gifts. The performer gives lot of good gifts. Vara Dakshinaha. Vara, better, good, or even best. Dakshinaha, fees. Fees or rather honorarium. Samagra, for all people, without any distinction, whatever somebody is asking, he must be satisfied. So if the performer satisfies all the people who come to the sacrifice and performs perfectly all sacrifices, so put the merits of these sacrifices, put the merits of the performance of these sacrifices on one pan. The other pan will have Bhaya Bhitasya Praninaf Prana Rakshanam. Saving the life of a creature, a living creature, one who is totally fearful or afraid. Bhaya Bhitasya. He is shaking with fear. Some creature is shaking with fear, and that creature has been saved. So only one creature, only one soul has been saved, and that is equal to the merits of hundreds of sacrifices, where the people coming to the sacrifice are totally satisfied. So பூர்ணமானதும் மேன்மையுமான தட்சிணைகளோடு கூடின யாகம் ஒரு தட்டு. பயத்தினால் நடுங்கும் பிராணியினுடைய உயிரை ரட்சிப்பது மற்றொரு தட்டு. இரண்டும் சமானம். So தட்டு is pan of the balance. So all the sacrifices, merits of all the sacrifices will be just equal to one life saver. So 134. So Samvartadigal சொன்ன தாத்காலிக பலமும் விபாக காலத்தில் பலமும் கேளீர். Now the list of advantages that accrue to the protector is more and more. Is elaborated now further. So Samvartadigal சொன்ன Samvarta Smithy we just saw. So the Samvarta Smithy said a long lifespan and happiness throughout life and all fulfilled desires. So we will be almost equal to Lord Avapta Samasta Kamaha. So there will be no desire further to be fulfilled for the protector. Bhaya Bhitasya Rakshane. So these are all what we call temporary advantages. Temporary advantages in the sense at that time they will be available. And not that it is, of course they are permanently available. So immediate result that we can say for Tatkalika. Tatkalika is not temporary here. So the immediate result that we get out of protection of the surrenderer are, namely, all desires are fulfilled, the long span of life, and happiness throughout life. So these three are called initial advantages. Then, so Vipaka Kalatil Phalamum Keli. Now, once the span of life is over, when a person who protected the surrenderer is happy throughout his life, so what will happen after his life, after his death? So Vipaka Kalam, so at the time of fructification of the merits, he will be called Dharmishtaha and Yashasvi. Dharmishtancha Yashasyancha. என்று தற்காலத்திலே சித்தித்து நிற்கும் பலம் So during his life, he will be called a good person, dharmishta, a person who follows strictly the good policies, and he will be famous also, Yashasyam, that is immediate result. So Swargyam Syattu Phalodaye என்று பிரதிபந்தகம் கழிந்தால் விபாக காலத்தில் வரும் பலம். So he will go to heaven. Heaven in the sense where he wants to go. Heaven in the sense a place of happiness. If he wants Vaikuntham, he will have Vaikuntham. So Swargyam Syat to Phalodaye. Swargaha is only an indication of the word that it's a happy world. That's all. So Swargyam Syat to Phalodaye. So at the what we call fructification of the merits after death will be heaven will be, that is what we call happy world will be awaiting him. The pleasurable world will welcome him. என்று பிரதிபந்தகம் கழிந்தால், so பிரதிபந்தகம் கழிந்தால் meaning having crossed over the impediment, obstacle, namely he was earlier not protecting the surrenderer, and therefore sin accrued to him, and therefore so when he restarted, rather first initially he rejected the surrenderer, and then afterwards he realized his fault and then made amendments, then he protected the surrenderer, and therefore so pratibandhakam kalindal, after the impediment has been crossed, vipaka kalatil varum phalam. So this is what we call the resultant effect. What is the fruit of the resultant effect? We will see the Tamil transliteration in Sanskrit. என்று ஷிபி பிரபத்திகள் அறுதியிட்டபடியே சரணாகத ரட்சணமே தர்மங்கள் எல்லாத்துக்கும் முடிசூடின தர்மம். So this is what we concluded in yesterday's session also. Sharanagata Rakshana, protection of the surrenderer, is the final summum bonum of the Shastras. So Sharanagata Rakshaname, Dharmangal Ellathukkum Mudisudina Dharma. The foremost duty or the right policy is protection of the surrenderer. So who said it? So Shibhi Prabhartikal. There are many people who said them, and one of them was Shibhi Chakravarti. Now we go to the next page. Before going to the next page, we will take up. Na ataha bhuyaha tataha dharmaha kaschit anyaha asti khechara praninam bhayabhitanam abhayam yat pradiyate mahan dharmaha akshaya phalaha sharanagata palane dharma nischaya tattvajnaha evam ahur manishinaha. Now Shibhi Chakravarti addresses the vulture, Pakshiye. There is a word called Khechara in the first half of first verse. Khechara, Khe in the Akasha, in the sky, Chara, one who moves. Khechara meaning anything that moves in the sky. So here it is bird. So here it is vulture. So Khechara, so he does not, Shibhi does not address it as vulture nor as a cruel bird and so on. So Khechara, beautifully addressing. So Pakshi, He Pakshin. So Khechara, so O vulture, O bird, Bhayabhitanam Praninam, to the people, creatures who are afraid, totally fearful. Abhayam yat pradiyate, if protection is extended, then ataha dharmaha na bhuyaha tataha. First half, ataha, therefore, tataha dharmaha na bhuyaha. There is no other dharma available again as the best. The best dharma will be, best duty will be protection of the surrenderers, plural. one, even more than one. So all the creatures which are fearful should be protected. And it is not an aim for only one creature. So we must save many creatures. Then, so வேறொரு தர்மம் ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. பயத்தினால் நடுங்கும் பிராணிகளுக்கு அபயம் கொடுப்பதை காட்டிலும் வேறொரு தர்மம் ஒன்றும் கிடையாது. There is no highest good policy than extending protection to the surrenderers. Now, what is this dharma? Mahan dharma. This is the greatest righteousness. Mahan dharma. Akshaya phalaha. It is not the list of advantages that we limited so far. That is, all desires of the protector will be fulfilled. He will get a long span of life and he will be happy throughout life. These three. Plus, he will go to Swargam. Swargam in the sense a happy world, according to his own intention, after death. There are 4 advantages so far. It is not limited. Akshaya phalaha. So further benefits will accrue to him. Further advantages will join him, will reach him. So akshaya phalaha. There will be no reduction of the positive results. Sharanagata palane, in the protection of the surrenderer. So just one action of protection of the one surrenderer, that will stand him in good stead for entire future. No unhappiness, no sadness will come to him. So dharma nishchaya tattvajnaha manishinaha evam ahu. Noble people, manishinaha. Manisha, as I told you previously, good thought. So noble thought is called manisha. So manishinaha, so those who are good in thoughts, they know what is that. So they know what? Dharma nishchaya tattvajna. They know very well the deepest principle of the firm righteousness. Dharma nishchaya tattvajnaha. So already the principles are laid down clearly in Shastras like scriptures, and therefore they cull out those statements from the scriptures and they categorically say that Mahan Dharmaha Sharanagata Palane Akshaya Phalaha. It will be the greatest good policy to protect the surrenderer, and it will give unlimited fruits, irreducible fruits. Akshaya Phalaha.
Ramanujadaya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanathāryam Vande Vedanta Desikam Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Kurave Namaha. Vaditya Shirobanga Panjanana Parakrama Sriman Venkatanathārya Shiram Vijetam Bhuvi. சீருண்ணு தூப்புள் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாருண்ணு சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்னு தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேர போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ராமானுஜதயா பாத்ரம் ஞான வைராக்ய பூஷணம் ஸ்ரீமத்வேங்கடநாதார்யம் வந்தே வேதாந்த தேசிகம் கவிதார்க்கிக சிம்ஹாய கல்யாண குணசாலினே ஸ்ரீமதே வெங்கடேஷாய வேதாந்த குரவே நமஹ. சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய. Abhaya